Murray, Dan Griffin, William Harvey, Harvey Newton, Ruben Tucker, Ollie Baldwin, Liam Weatherall, Piers Hartley, Monica Bolton Ramos, Hurry Husnu, Josh Melling and Leo Stavro in this, our junior Group B qualifying. Just under 10 minutes then for these drivers to compete and show that they are fastest over one lap as they prep themselves for the grids for this afternoon racing here at Rissington.
Bit of a question mark over why that was the case and whether that's a trend that's going to continue through this group and Group C. So we'll wait and see on that one. At the moment, looks like Max Winfield is setting the pace there, even on 50.0.
Jamie Richards still holding this session with that 49. The case for a lot of our drivers, actually lap 14 to be that prime moment in the session to get the good times in. We're seeing 49.4 last time out.
5 Jacob's spots in the pre-A final, I'd imagine. Piers Hartley has improved as well in the 118 up to 8th. Edgar Acevedo there with Jacob Brown, Jamie Warner, Edgar Acevedo and Matteo Aaron Feuchter. I reckon they'll all be comfortably through to the pre-A final. All set to go then for our junior super lightweight pre-C final. Let's take you through the grid for this one. On pole position will be the number 48 of Jack Hayhoe, alongside on the front row Josh Melling. Milo Stewart and Max Miller will form up row number 2. It's then Ruben Tucker and Caden Serville there on row 3. Quinton Verschoor and Liam Weatherall will be on row number 4 ahead of Hurry Husnu and Dan Griffin on row number 5. We have got more than 11 karts in this one, so I'll run you through the rest of the order. It's Harry Titchener and Leo Edger on row 6. Elliot Parry and Monica Bolton Ramos go from row 7. Ethan Miles and Amor Zayana go from row 8. Stefan Chifan and Faraz Adra start on row 9. 18 drivers in total for this one. Weather updates. Again, it keeps trying. It's doing what it did in one of the Group C qualifyings earlier on, Reeve. A few spots of rain, but it's not properly bucketing down here, so it's going to be a bit of a greasy circuit for the drivers. Pace kart driver will pull off to driver's right. We are ready once again to run through those tram lines, go all the way to start line and get this pre-C final underway for 11 minutes here at Rissington in the juniors. Are they all going to be able to run through the loop at this first time of asking? 2 wide, 3 wide, no, there's a spinner in the middle of the pack there. But if it's only one kart that's fallen off the road, I think we'll keep this one going. This shouldn't be a false start like we saw with the juniors. I think there's another driver off towards the back of the field. But a very good start for Jack Hayhoe in this race, Reeve. The driver with the number 48 has already broken away as there's more spinners down at the dogleg.
Yep, there are indeed. Josh Melling there on the defence of second position. Oh. A cone stuck in the front axle of the car. That is utter despair for the driver there. An unfortunate moment to try and get the kart spun round. Sees that kart effectively immobilised for at least a short while. 10 minutes of this race, and I get the feeling that we're starting to see that rain take an effect on grip levels out on this track. It is coming down properly now, and you just saw how on edge the karts looked as they headed through the loop on this very first lap. A couple of braking formation penalties coming in, but I don't imagine we're going to see it at the same level of the race start last time out.
Yeah, the Dunlop tyres that these full-size Club 100 karts run on and have been running on for a few seasons do offer a good level of grip even in these conditions, more so than previous tyre manufacturers. There's an almighty scrap going on there. I think that's between Milo Stewart and Max Miller and others, as we've got 9.5 minutes of this race to go. It's number 36 of Max Miller who's come to the front of this little pack and up into third place, because Jack Hayhoe's gone. Jack Hayhoe has got a 2.4 second lead ahead of Josh Melling. Josh Melling similarly has got a good gap over the rest of the field. So Miller, Tucker, Griffin, Miles and others have got to get themselves organised pretty quickly here, Reeve, because those top 2 positions that precede a driver into the pre-B final, they are disappearing up the road.
They absolutely are. It's Miller at the moment with all the work to do to keep that huge armada of karts behind now as we see them running down into the dogleg. Big contact there involving 4 different cars. One driver spun round, one off into the grass, and we wait for a safe moment to rejoin there. But the dogleg, a bit of a point of contention so far in this, the first junior race of the afternoon.
Well, I wonder if the track conditions played a part in that incident, Reeve, because the rain for the first time today is really starting to come down now based on what we're seeing just out of our commentary box window. A lot more drops of rain on the glass. That would indicate that the track conditions are changing across the board. What are the times looking like? Yeah, we're into the 51s and the 52s on lap times. That's basically the same pace as cadets do in the dry. So the track conditions are deteriorating. There you see the effects as well on the lens of one of our static cameras around the circuit. So this is going to really mix things up now. Who is going to be able to literally get to grips with the track surface the quickest? That is going to be a very key part of this race. There's more spinners down at the dogleg. That's going to be the tricky point because that's the longest run. It's the fastest point of the circuit into a big braking zone. That is where these carts are going to be right on the knife edge.
Absolutely. These carts already braked on one axle, which means that the balance can be very much upset, especially if you stamp on the brakes in low grip conditions like these, as we go nearly 3 wide at the start of the next lap there. That is the 1-2-6er of Josh
Is it
Melling.
second place?
Yeah, this is the battle for second place as we run through the loop now. It's becoming a 4-car battle for second place now. Josh Melling with the R-plated rookie. The denotation on the R timing screens here is doing an almighty job at the moment of keeping the likes of Max Miller behind, but the question is for how long. Jack Hayhoe walking away with it at the moment, and Josh Melling, who was looking pretty comfortable a few moments ago, now finds himself under pressure in this battle which covers 2/3 of the podium.
Ethan Mars had to go down the inside there, nearly had a half spin through the dogleg. The rain is continuing. Oh, it's really teeming down now. Here at the circuit, you will see mid-corner the driver sliding around a lot more. Now, one of the saving graces is this is a well-rubbered-in, well-used circuit. It will offer a good amount of grip to the drivers. Here's the fight for second place as Max Miller's down the inside. The rain is getting harder and harder out there now. Back comes Melling on Miller. This is for that crucial second place in the race. Jack Hayhoe again is 4.5 seconds up in the lead here, but even that bigger gap can't be one to rest on his laurels because of this rain that's teeming down now at the circuit. You can see the slippery surface flags are out, and this could potentially bring a lot more drivers back into play here, Reed, for this second place.
Absolutely, our field still looking pretty close all over throughout the running gear, and as you say, that second battle getting closer. Still, I'd argue it will now covers down all the way down to P8, P9, P. I mean, just look at the number of carts here. This is now the number 98 rather, of Ethan Miles into the lead.
Runs wide.
Oh, yeah, wide he goes there as Miles takes the lead of this battle for second place. Max Miller up in a 2/3 as well. Where are we going to see our driver running wider? It looks like everyone's made it through. There we go, yeah, track limits warning coming in as we have contact before we run down to the loop. Not quite sure if everyone's spun around, but it is getting a bit chaotic here in the final stages of this race. No wonder those slippery surface flags are out.
Keep an eye on Oliver Yango. Yango has come from 24th on the grid. In cart number 83, you can see him there in the orange suit and the white helmet. Oliver Yango's probably got a little bit more experience than the rest of the drivers here. Could be on his way to a quite remarkable run into the Pre-B final. Number 31 having a bit of a slide there. That's Quinton Verschure. I thought I saw Quinton in bother earlier on this lap. 5 minutes to go. Jack Hayhoe's lead is 5.8 seconds, and as long as Jack Hayhoe can just keep it on the road and keep the pace good, he's going to be through. The question is, though, who's going to be taking second place? Max Miller has jumped away from the field on this particular lap. Miles is back down the inside of Melling for third place. 4.5 minutes remaining in a very, very tricky pre-C final for everybody out there. There is once again Oliver Yango in the number 83, just ahead of Dan Griffin in the bright green helmet.
I think the rain has abated ever so slightly. No, it hasn't actually.
No.
I'll take back my words there. I was going to say, but the track's still very much damp either way, as we can see there. That is Josh Melling currently running in the third position. Looking around the outside is Ethan Miles with that contact warning that he carries in to the dogleg bend. The cone picked up there. Drivers spun round. Most of the field making it through okay, though.
Yeah, I think we had a 4 wide moment there into the dogleg, which hardly ever works out in dry conditions. Never mind these greasy ones at Rissington right now. 3 minutes and 45 seconds remaining. There's a yellow flag out there at Marshall Post 5. I think Ruben Tucker is still running around out there, but I think a couple of drivers have fallen off the back of the field. I think there's been problems for Nathaniel Garay. It's down in 30th place now. Amor Zayana and Leo Stavru have also fallen off the back of the main pack. I tell you what as well, Max Miller is closing in on the race leader here. Jack Hayhoe's lead is down to 3.8 seconds as Ethan Mars has a little tap on the helmet there to communicate to the drivers that they need to think about this. That's a nice move from Ethan Critchley in the blue suit with the white helmet, kart number 87, round the outside of Dan Griffin for 6th place. Latest news from race control, there's been a few contact warnings in this one, but we have seen that penalty for Callum Wood in the number 45 for FDW, that is forcing driver wide. Where is Callum at the moment? He's P16 on the road, so that's not going to affect things in the top positions of this race.
It's a really interesting point to this race now for Jack Hayhoe in that in the final few laps. He has the time gap at least to afford to just kind of cruise the kart home, but the issue is, in damp conditions, that's not what you want to do. Those tyres are not going to appreciate that drop off in pace. He needs to effectively still gun for it, but that adds risk as well. It's going to have to be a very perfectly balanced race for Jack Hayhoe at this point.
Yes, he's still got 2.8 seconds as his lead as Griffin goes wheel to wheel with Yango there. Oh, it's round in the middle of the pack. And that looked to be a spin that was encouraged, shall we say. We'll track who that was spinning round down the order in a few moments. Dan Griffin's not happy at all. Both hands off the steering wheel there, remonstrating with another one of the drivers. So 2 minutes to go. Oh, is it Yango? Oh, Yango's still there in 8th place. Yeah. I think it might have been Caden Seville who's dropped down to 15th, lost 4 places on that last lap. Yeah, there is the number 83 of Oliver Yango. But my oh my, this has been a really tough race for our Pre-C finalists. Remember, most of these drivers, if not all of these drivers, have never experienced race conditions here at Rissington, and they've been thrown straight into, maybe not a baptism of fire, but a baptism of rainstorms out there. And number 26 of Leo Edger trying to get away from Harry Titchener, Curtis Duane and Caden Seville, as we say, fell down the order on that previous lap. So, just over a minute to go. Where is our race leader? Just coming into the boot now. So I reckon we'll have 2 more laps as another spinner there. That looked to be through the elbow. I think that was Elliot Parry, because Elliot Parry is falling down the order. Was a late entry to the field here this week, but is now dropping outside of the top 20. 45 seconds to go. Top 2 positions look set here, Reed, but this battle for third is still very much on.
It absolutely is, as we are going to be heading towards our final lap. Further issues at the dog leg bend here. As we say, it is the trickiest part of the track. Arguably, perhaps no surprise there that we're seeing all of that rubbered surface becoming very slippy in the wet. I really feel for these drivers, actually. They left this session in dryish conditions, no wetsuits on, as we have there. That is the number 51 of Fawaz Adra there. Manages to keep it pointing in the right direction, loses some pace, sliding through now as we head towards the end of the lap. I think conditions are getting even worse.
Yeah, they are indeed. Ethan Miles is now up to 3rd place. Got to say, it's a great drive from Fawaz Adra. Fawaz started at the back of the field. Oh, another little bit of autocross there, and also grassing, which is popular in this part of the world. Dan Griffin getting in amongst it. Remember that all of these finishing positions do convert through into starting positions for the Trophy C final later on today. Here once again is the fight for what is now 4th place, Melling and Critchley. Griffin drifting there. Oh dear, as the number 17 of Curtis Duane has had an off. That may have been down at turn 1, you know. Was running in 27th place. Yeah, the tyres being displaced. We are on the last lap. The race leader is coming around the final corner now. Jack Hayhoe, we've not seen too much of him so far in this race, but he has done the business, comes over the line, takes the race victory, will move to the back of the grid for the Pre-B final. It could be a good tip for that Pre-B final, because at least in the early stages, those moving through have experienced these conditions. Jack Hayhoe managed that brilliantly. Doesn't look like the most dominant win, only 1.5 seconds ahead of Max Miller. Miller another 1.4 ahead of Ethan Miles, but very clever driving from both of them, not taking too many risks in the latter stages, knowing they had the places done.
Here we go then, it's our Junior C final coming up in just a moment. Cart's already out on track, getting ready to go racing. Our grid then is in the process of being formed up, but we can have a look at it anyway. Here it looks like it will be Ethan Miles, Josh Melling, Dan Griffin. Then we have Henry Eaton heading out to start our grid for a moment. We'll wait to see as it comes up in just a moment. We're just commenting here in the comment box. It's getting quite toasty here at Rissington, isn't it? The rain has completely disappeared, but here is our starting grid. As I say, it's Ethan Miles, Josh Melling, Dan Griffin, Henry Eaton, Ethan Critchley and Oliver Yango. Moving on to row 4, then it's Liam Wetherall, Fowers Adra, Leo Edger and Caden Seville. Then we have Ben Ridquist and Harry Titchener. Moving on to row 7, Ruben Tucker, Callum Wood, Monica Bolton, Ramos, Harrison, Maxwell, Quinton Pajor and Elliot Parry. Moving on then to row 10, it's Amos Zayana, Stefan Chifan, Thomas Wordley, Milo Stewart, Jasmine Richardson and Tom King. Final couple of rows, that is Leo Stavro, Nathaniel Garay, Hooray Husnu and Curtis Duane. Our 28 kart grid are just about making it through in time. The pace kart drops away from the field. They head down the tram lines and we get underway for our first Junior C final. Into that first corner we go. Ethan Miles versus Josh Melling versus Dan Griffin there, running up towards the loop in just a moment. Couldn't quite catch who took that race lead. Couple of issues, apologies there folks, but we head through the loop now. A whole fleet of karts heading through our 28 kart field, the biggest we'll see here at Rissington. 1 kilometre circuit, of course, pretty tight, but it is Ethan Miles who leads from Dan Griffin, jumping up into second, but down the inside goes Henry Eaton. That was pretty bold into the dog leg there, and we run up towards the bottom bend in just a moment.
Dan Griffin comes through, had a good turn of speed in the latter part of that straight, so Dan Griffin takes the lead in this Junior Super Lightweight C final. Remember again, only the top 2 run through into the B final. It's Griffin from Eaton, Miles, Critchley, Yango, Wetherall, Edger, Adra, Cyril and Melling. That's your top 10 at the end of this first lap. Braking formation penalty in the early stages of this race for Hooray Husnu. So unfortunately for Hooray, that will be the end of any hopes of going through from this C final. Drivers do still score points irrespective of where they finish, obviously a different amount of points depending on where they finish, but nobody, unless they get disqualified, will be going home with a 0 score. Very close run thing though at the front of this one. Dan Griffin and Henry Eaton not able to charge away from the rest of the field as things stand. So as here goes Eaton down the inside, takes the race lead. Good move there on Dan Griffin. Ethan Miles wants a piece of that as well, side by side as they run towards the loop. That could open things for Ethan Critchley now in the blue suit to get through into third place, but Miles has held the position nicely through that sequence of corners, and once again it's Oliver Yango on the move in the orange suit there. Card number 83 looks like a threat.
Yep, Griffin still under pressure there as Miles looks to have a way past here into that dog leg though. Going to be difficult when there's so many karts heading through all at the same time. We drop down towards the bottom bend once more. Still a very compact grid here at Rissington as we head further into this race, when it's Eaton leads Griffin, leads Miles. Miles putting on a strong charge here ahead of Critchley Yango as well.
Oh, big wide moment there for one driver in the background. I'm not sure who that was. We'll try and track through in a minute. Back at the front of the field, Henry Eaton has the lead of this race.
As it stands across the line, that's your top 10 from that running. Well, that was getting quite close to comfort